If you're looking to monetize off the platform, but leveraging the platform, I would say building and scaling an email list would be my biggest recommendation because within an email list, that's where you can really start to funnel your followers off the platform and monetize it.
Hello, this is Pavel with the Leverage podcast, and this is episode 77. And we have Whitney Key, who is an amazing social media influencer. And we're going to talk to Whitney. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, of course. Whitney, yeah, just before the webinar started, I looked at your Instagram. It's amazing what you're doing. So it's looks like social media is really teaming with successful brands, and I can see that you are winning and maximizing your social media platforms, right?
Yes, I am. Thank you so much.
Yeah, good stuff. So, first question usually pops up in people's mind when they talk to a social media influencer. So, how do you have any tips on for people how to effectively monetize social media? Because that's what they all want to do,
Mhm.
all want to learn, and I decided to just jump right into the gravy
Yeah.
stuff and ask you this question.
I mean, there's honestly a lot of different ways that you can monetize your social media presence. I think that the first part is just figuring out where you're most comfortable online.
Hmm.
So, I have been a mentor, a coach, and a social media strategist now for over 13 years.
Oh
And
wow.
having my own agency that specializes in social media and branding, some of the things that I've come to realize is that a lot of people put themselves on a social media platform and they want to monetize it, but ultimately they just don't even know how to create for that platform. So let's take, for example, somebody that really likes to write content rather than show up on video. TikTok would be a really big disconnect for that person, right?
Yeah,
Even though
because
video is
it's not
super
really writing. Yeah.
powerful, but written content and photos is their jam. So I would recommend Instagram to be that platform, even though you can do video showing up on Instagram. So figuring out what you like to do first is most important. And then I would say start with the opportunities of the platform if they are available to you to monitor. I mean, most of
Hmm.
these platforms they have creator funds now, right? Reels play on Instagram. TikTok has their own creator fund. Same thing with Facebook. So you can really monetize within the platform itself. If you're looking to monetize off the platform, but leveraging the platform, I would say building and scaling an email list would be my biggest recommendation because within an email list, that's where you can really start to funnel your followers off the platform and monetize it.
Got it. Well, Whitney, that's a really good point. And about, I mean, actually separating the, what you like to do, like a video versus text, which you like to
Mhm.
write. So, I actually kind of jumped like ahead of myself. I'm sorry. So,
It's okay.
why don't you tell us your story? I mean, I looked at your Instagram, I see who you are, but our listeners may not know. So, why don't you tell us your story and brief who you are, where you come from, and you mentioned you've been doing it for 13 years, right?
Yeah, over 13. So, yes,
Yeah.
hello everybody. My name is Whitney Kay, and I'm a brand and social media strategist and coach and owner and CEO and founder and owner of Social Savvy Influencer, which is a brand and social media agency. And I started in this line of work. It was kind of like a really long journey, but I'm going to fast track it for you. I was a marketing coordinator for corporate America for a regional group. And I ended up leaving there wanting to start my own event planning and marketing company back in the day
Okay.
and realized really quickly I did not like planning events. I liked going to events, I just didn't like planning them. So then I started, kind of really trekking forward in the marketing world because I have a background in graphic design as well. So it was like graphic design and marketing. And it really wasn't until 3 years ago that I fully tapped into what my true purpose was, my
Mm.
passion was. And now I really primarily work with female service based entrepreneurs and coaches. I still work with the occasional male, but it's predominantly female.
Mhm.
And I really work with them on, creating their branding from startup entrepreneur, even a seasoned entrepreneur rebranding and creating a really strong digital footprint, but by leveraging social media, because that's just the day and age that we are
Yeah, that's
today.
where we are at.
But
Exactly.
there's all so many other pieces that go into a digital footprint and branding and everything. But social media is definitely my jam, and I've been able to create some really good success from social media for sure.
Amazing. Well, that's really quite a journey. A very quick question. I mean, I've been, thinking about it. So I find that building communities is truly an effective way of
Mhm.
providing value to your target audience. So like depending what kind of business you are, of course, like you're working with a lot of female entrepreneurs. So some of them own, I assume, different types of stores, maybe different types of businesses. So they
Mhm.
definitely have their target audience. And like for example, here at Virtudesk, we leverage social media by sharing content to our target audience that we know they find valuable. Like we talk about virtual assistants, work life balance, successful entrepreneurship. For sure, you have your own communities as well, right? So how do you ensure that you're always providing value to your community? What do you? I mean, if that's what you do, so
Yeah. So I think that community building is such a huge part of social media.
it is,
And a
yeah.
lot of us look at our following as a community. But in my honest opinion, you don't really have your following in a community. You're kind of broadcasting to your following every single day when
Hmm.
you post. You start to form a community when you can take your followers and put them into a group, or maybe you've built a mobile app, or you use a platform like Mighty Networks. I know a lot of people use that platform for communities. I've used Facebook groups. I've scaled
Okay.
several groups on
Yeah.
Facebook that
Facebook groups.
consist,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
that
what we do
consist
too.
of, uh-huh. I have hundreds of thousands of members in Facebook groups that I have
Okay.
built.
So that's your
Okay.
community. That's your tribe, basically, right?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Okay.
And I believe that in a community, you have a follower, and that follower follows you. That's great. But when you can invite them into your house, so to say, or your community, that is when you can really build and strengthen that relationship. And if you want to talk about monetizing platforms, it's within
Mhm.
that community. I mentioned an email list, that's a community. But if we're talking social media communities, Facebook is a great place to start up a group, whether you're a storefront or you have like your community, your followers. If you started a Facebook group, which I don't know if you have yet or not, and you started
Yeah,
funneling
we do.
people,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
and you
Of
funnel people
course.
into that group and you broadcast live in there and you offer them, specific deals or promotions, like that's just where all the magic happens in communities. So I absolutely love building communities. It's so
So
fun.
basically, yeah, and looks like from what I see, Facebook is probably the only platform that allows for that type of building, more of an, uh, you know, more of a tight community to build where people who really love your product, love your services, are there
Yeah,
to interact with
LinkedIn
each
does
other.
too. LinkedIn
Okay.
has some good group
Okay.
abilities there. But I would say if Facebook has done anything right in the past couple of years, they're like trying to move in all these different directions.
Yeah.
Groups has been a really good decision on their part, and that's why they're putting more attention into their groups lately, as far as abilities and
Exactly.
functionality and
And
everything.
whenever I scroll on Facebook, I'm usually see like posts in mostly in groups where I'm at, where I'm a member
Yeah.
of the groups instead of just like random people posting. So that's
Hmm.
just, I think that's just the way their algorithm works. So if you're, I
Hmm.
guess, business owner, you got to have your own Facebook group where you bring your own tribe, where you bring your own people to be there so they could talk about your product, talk about something else, obviously, but that's how you can engage them. And another thing, like what I found very valuable for us as the business owner in that community, if there's a concern, somebody addresses that concern, we can jump on that and basically rectify it or resolve any issues. So that's
Yeah.
kind of obviously a good one. Whitney, what's your process like when you, let's say you have a Facebook group, or you run a Facebook group? What's your process
Mhm.
of moderating? What's your process of actually building it up and making sure that people stay in there versus leaving? How do you make
Mm.
sure it's interesting for them to be there? How do
So,
they?
so
Yeah.
community retention is what we're talking
Yes.
about here.
Exactly. You
So,
got it. Yes.
yeah. So I would say consistency is key, but that's with anything on social media.
Hmm.
You have to be showing up all the time. And I think another important thing is asking your community what they want to hear about. Like, what is it that they're expecting to be a part of this community? What do they want? Because if you give them what they want, then they're going to stay there. I something that I've also done too is, well, number one, add a lot of value on a consistent basis. But number two, I've incentivized my community a lot. I have,
Oh,
run challenges or giveaways to grow my community and encourage those communities or the community members within the community to invite their outside friends and their family and their follower. And based on, who they bring in and the amount of people that they bring in, I reward them for that. I reward them for helping me grow the
hmm,
community and
interesting.
make
Yeah.
a wider impact. So as far as a process
Can
goes,
you
I
give us
mean,
yeah,
yeah,
process or
I also
example
do
of rewarding?
events,
Yeah. Oh, you do
virtual,
events?
digital events. I do a lot of
Oh, okay.
virtual, digital events to bring the community together as well.
Well, that seemed like a very, this very common concept during COVID lockdowns when people were actually, I think, started to, organize online events, virtual events.
Mhm.
People were just basically coming up. Now that this thing is kind of over, what are the ways? Because what we noticed here that I see that people less likely to engage right now because there's life outside. They
Mm,
go out, they do other things. They have actually work to go to in the office.
mhm.
So how do you maintain that level of engagement now, like versus when it was during the lockdowns?
I leverage networking because
Okay.
even though you can network local and you can get
Uh-huh.
out and meet people, there's something that the digital space that offers that local does not, and that's global access. So
Mm.
if I can leverage virtual networking opportunities that aren't just local, but that give entrepreneurs global reach to expand and connect and scale their businesses,
Okay.
then I think that's what works for me and my
Wow, that seems like an intensive process.
communities.
Whitney, so since you're a busy influencer, do you have anyone helping you with managing your social media and creating content and posting and running this thing? Basically, somebody working in the back end because it's a lot of work. That's just really too much for one person to do.
It's not that bad when you can learn to automate the process.
Hmm.
So one of the things that we do a lot of is automation. So we have a lot of automated systems in place that make it very easy to do. But we
Hmm.
also leverage virtual assistants in helping us, accomplish some of the personal parts of the business that automation cannot pick up and control.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta have VAs absolutely for that. And it looks like we got a question popped up here from Facebook. Said, "Hi Whitney, just wanted to ask, what are the common social media marketing mistakes that usually occur?" So I'm
Mm.
not sure what I mean. Like, apparently, what people do.
I
What is it?
think that a lot of mistakes that I think are very easy to fall into
Hmm.
are buying a following or buying
Bots.
engagement. Mhm. So I love automated bots for the DMs, which are managing conversations. That's a completely different type of
Hmm.
bot than bots that are there to engage and just give you followers. That can dramatically hinder your growth and affect your account. So I would say that is probably one of the easiest traps to fall into because
I
it sounds
see a lot of people
enticing.
doing it. I see a
Mhm.
lot of people doing it. They're buying bots just for following, making sure look like
Yep.
their account has a lot of following, even though they're bots and pretty much no engagement. And it's actually very easy to tell who's got a bot,
Yeah.
following. So, you know, yeah.
Yeah, you can a simple run of a free platform or analytic platform can tell you
Yeah.
who's been using bots. So,
Another question just popped up. Based on your experience, what do successful brands have in common?
what do successful brands have in common?
Yeah.
I would say they
And it's not a
have.
question from me. Yeah.
That's a really hard question. I
I
would say
know. I
success.
know. And I'm also thinking at the same time,
Yeah,
I'd
I would
probably say like
honest.
consistency, right?
Yeah,
That's something.
consistency. And I
Yeah.
would say that successful brands are not afraid of being innovative with new platform tools. What do I mean by
Being
that?
able to pivot. Well, being able to
Well,
pivot.
yeah, being able to
Yeah.
pivot. So before we
Yeah.
never had short form video. We never had reels until TikTok blew up. So if you're familiar and comfortable on Instagram, and then all of a sudden Instagram rolls out reels and you're hesitant to want to show up on video,
Hmm.
successful entrepreneurs, they're not hesitant. They just jump.
They
They
just do
just,
it
all these
exactly. Yeah.
brands, they just move in the direction that they know they need to move in order to be successful rather than sitting back and not moving and being late to
Yeah.
the game.
Yeah. Well, that's true. Listen, I
Yeah.
think it's really, and since we are the VA company, I mean, I ought to ask you this question.
Yeah.
What are the tasks that you actually delegate to your virtual assistants? How do
Oh
your
goodness.
VAs help you run your company, basically? Yeah. Why don't you just walk
I
me
would
through the
say,
process?
yeah, I have virtual assistants that help me with my Facebook groups, just
Hmm.
management and just like consistent posts that go in there.
Yeah.
Scheduling off weekly email reminders through my email marketing platform. I would say one of the most valuable resources that I use my VAs for is for targeted engagement on social
Okay.
media. So this, again, it's not bots, but I do have them seek out my target customer avatar and start up
Hmm.
conversations with them to see if I can bring them on like my podcast or interview them for my YouTube channel or all these other things so that I can create that relationship. Podcast management and graphic
Podcast management.
designs
Yeah.
and email copy. I mean, VAs are wonderful. They can really
Of
assist you with
course.
everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. I think the strategy is very effective to use,
Mm.
outsourced help. At Virtudesk, we have several clients who use our executive assistants to manage their teams, to manage their
Yeah.
social media. And I think that having someone oversee your team helps you zero in on more important aspects of your business, such as like
Mhm.
nurturing client connection, networking, strategizing. So, executive VAs are basically equipped with the leadership skills, usually.
Yeah.
So how about the tools? How about that you used in making sure that your
Mm.
team is productive? I mean, are there any specific tools that you're using to make sure that your VA is actually doing what they're supposed to do, or how do you
Yeah, I would
how do you hold
say,
them accountable? Yeah.
I have tried all of the tools. Okay. I
Okay.
am a tech geek at the end of the day. I love technology. ClickUp
Hmm.
has been my go-to tool. It's ClickUp is a wonderful platform for project management, task management, team communication, all of the and above. Um, I've
Hmm.
used Trello, I've used Airtable, I've used everything, and ClickUp brings everything together in one place. So I would say that would be my go-to platform.
Okay. So do you also hold accountability meetings with them, like I don't
Mhm.
know, daily, weekly, twice a week, or
I would
um,
say I don't really have to hold accountability meetings because ClickUp
mhm.
does a really good job of tracking
Yeah,
everybody's progress
that's
and
true.
the communication. But depending on certain projects or new things that I'm launching, I will have like a Zoom meeting with my team to see, just to make sure that we're all on the same page and we understand things. Or if we bring somebody new in or a new client comes in and I need assistance, then yeah, we have those pop-ups. But pop-up meetings, but I wouldn't say it's something that's done on a regular basis. No.
Got it. Got it. So you don't use like any type of tool or software to make sure that they actually work in like so you can see the screenshots or make sure that where you just more of a like a on a trust based on a trust because we use technology here. We use
Yeah.
technology. We provide our clients with the software that VAs work on, so clients can monitor screenshots if necessary. They can see when the VA actually clocked in, clocked out, took a break, when idle. So
ClickUp does all of that. So yeah,
oh,
I
good,
use that.
good to know.
It's all within the ClickUp platform. There's time tracking, there's assigned tasks. I mean, all of that in that one single individual platform. And then as far as screenshots, I think one of the screenshots in creating SOPs for your business, I love
Hmm.
the platform Scribe. I don't know if you've
Okay.
ever heard of Scribe. Scribe's
Yes,
a
I
really good
have.
platform for that.
Mhm. Okay. Good. Good to know.
Um,
Um, good. Yeah, we just have a couple more follow-up questions. Looks like from Facebook community where we're airing this right now. As an entrepreneur, what's the best social media platform you can recommend for companies that are starting to build their brand? So I think you can probably, yeah, I think you have to be probably
okay.
everywhere, right?
Yeah,
So,
that's a really good question. And it's a very layered question to be honest with you. I would
yeah.
say again, it depends on what type of content you feel comfortable. I'm not going to ask you to show up on a platform and create content that you don't even like to create, because that's going to make you hate social media. So if you like to create video, though, I would say TikTok is the number one place to be right now for brand awareness. And then using other social media platforms to nurture the relationship with your following. So
Mhm.
that would be a really extensive answer, but I would say start with TikTok if you can.
Okay. Well, I'm starting TikTok. Yeah. Another question just popped up here. It says, "Are the Facebook groups better than Facebook pages, and why so?" So,
Oh, very good question.
yeah.
So, Facebook pages are really intended as, you have your personal profile where you connect with your friends and family, and you can talk
Mhm.
business there, but it's not intended for business. Facebook pages are really intended for business accounts. So, whether you're an independent entrepreneur or you're an actual company, that's what Facebook pages are for. Facebook
Mhm.
groups are literally people coming together based on a common interest or
And
passion
engaging.
within a group. So, yes, they're completely different. You can run advertising on a page. You can't necessarily do that within a Facebook group. You can target communities, but that's a whole nother conversation on a different day. But Facebook groups are really good with bringing people in with a common interest, and you can have a lot more of a connection with a
Mhm.
group more so than you can a page.
Interesting. That's your answer, guys, from the guru herself. Looks like there's a question in the chat. Pete is asking, how do you grow your groups? So let's say you're a business and you build a group, and how do you want to make
Yeah.
sure that it actually grows? And I think we've
Hmm.
kind of already touched on maintaining it and retention, but how about growing it?
Yeah, growing, I do. So one of the things with growing a group is you have to offer something exclusive there. What are people getting there that they're not getting on your normal social media accounts? So
Hmm.
maybe it's that I go live in my group once a week, or maybe it's I offer
Good
a
point.
monthly mastermind for my group. And the only way that you can get access to these lives is if you're a part of the group. So it's dangling a carrot of exclusivity, something that's
Yes,
exclusive to that
exclusivity. That's
group. Yeah,
took
something
out,
that's
out
exclusive
took
to that
off my
group.
tongue exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how you grow a group, and just figuring out what you can provide that's exclusive.
Yeah, well, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
Let's see another question. I'm just answering, reading out the question. What are the biggest lesson you learned when you started building your community? So
Ah, this is a really big lesson, and I hope you
it
hear
is.
me when I say this.
Yes, please.
People do not respond like you want them to in groups. You might make a, like, for example, I have a group with over 50,000 members in it. If
Hmm.
I make a post, I might only get 5 comments. And you might be sitting there and getting frustrated because you're like, I have
Like,
50,000
why?
members in this group. Why
Yeah.
am I only getting 5 comments?
Yes.
Can I
Yes.
give you
Why?
can I give you can I paint a picture really quick?
Yes.
Imagine if you had a house party and you invited everybody in your neighborhood over to your house or your apartment, and everybody came in. If I came in with a coat in my purse, I'm going to feel really awkward. Like, where do I put my purse? Where do I put my
Mhm.
coat? And then I'm going to be looking around like, where do I get a drink? Can I get a water? People are going to feel really uncomfortable in a group or in your house until time sets in and they feel like they have an understanding of how they're allowed to act in there. So I think constant reassurance that you want people to engage and posting things in there that asks for their engagement.
Mhm.
um like, do you like coffee or tea in the morning? I mean, I know that's not a really relevant post, but sometimes it's little posts like that that get people talking in a community,
Got
that
it.
get people to engage. So that was my biggest lesson learned, is I wanted to close a lot of my groups early because I thought that
Mhm.
nobody was listening or nobody was there. But people are there and they're paying attention. They just might not
They are
engage.
paying attention, right? They're just not
Mhm.
maybe probably the right topic for them to jump
Yeah.
in to discuss, or maybe something like awkward, or
Yeah.
something that not really within their realm of things that they get used to.
Yeah.
So good, good. That's so basically you gotta be able to engage them by asking like simple stuff at first, probably, right?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Pizza's asking, do you advertise on social media to increase followers? Like,
Mm.
do you pay to to promote your group to increase following?
I will be completely honest with you here.
Of
We
course you
do
would.
this, we do help our clients with this.
Yeah.
However, I have not. One of the
Okay.
things that is everything with my social media is that I've grown it completely organically. So I have not paid for any advertising to grow my following
Amazing.
or my account.
Amazing. That's really good. Yeah. Somebody's asking you, do we have a copy of this? Yes, the webinar is going to be recorded and you guys will receive it. So that's no problem. A couple more questions and we're just going to have to wrap it up.
Sure.
Can you list down the steps to building a community around a brand for those who are new to this whole concept? So, um,
The steps to building a community.
yeah, well, I think we already kind of touched on this at the beginning.
Yeah.
But
So
maybe we could
I
just
would
wrap
just
it up.
say start with a Facebook group, just open
Uh-huh.
it up and then talk about it to everybody. Just keep talking about it. Keep talking about it and keep adding people in every single day. Every
There
single
we
day.
go. There we go.
And
Ask your
follow
friends
me
to,
on social
yeah.
media. I give tons of tips of how to do
Yes,
that.
that's my next question. How do people find you? Could you share your Instagram, social
Yeah.
savvy influencer? And
And
I
you can
think
go
we
to
have
socialsavvyinfluencer.com.
social
Yep.
savvy influencer.com. So, and
Yeah.
I think we have, I mean, I have your personal Instagram. I just actually followed you. So,
Thank you.
yeah, of course. And guys, make sure to follow Whitney and check out her social savvy influencer Instagram and socialsavvyinfluencer.com, and for more tips on how to actually grow your brands. And feel free to contact her. But I think we can just wrap it up for now. And unless you have any parting words to say to us, all of us, you know.
No, I was just really honored and I appreciate the time to come on here and chat social media and community growth.
All right, sounds good. Well, thank you, Whitney. Again, we're very nice to meet you virtually, and we'll be make sure to follow you everywhere.
Awesome. Thanks
All
everyone.
right, thank you.